Well, we were playing volleyball and we were going down to the dock to wash ourselves off. So I had dove in. I was by myself at this point. I was the first one down there. I dove in and I started washing my upper body and all that. And then it got to the point I had to wash my lower body and I couldn't do that in the water, so I had to get out. So I got out on the deck, started washing my lower body. My second dive in was in a different position. I went around the ladder instead of just doing a regular shallow dive. You gotta be careful when you do shallow dive. But anyway, so I went in around the ladder, and when I hit the water, I hit the bottom. And I think I just grazed it just enough to break my neck, because I felt my whole body shut down limp.
We're talking hours now after the initial accident when finally we're standing around there, and it was funny because Gary was still Gary. He joked. Like, I think that's why I was partially clueless, was his attitude about all. I know he says he was tired, but like, they'd say, I'm taking you for an x-ray, and he'd say to me, Chris, you got time to get me McDonald's? Make sure it's here when I get back. Like he still was saying all these lighthearted stuff. We got married 5 days after the accident.
6, but who's counting?
Yeah, 6. Okay, we got married on July 6th. Yeah, okay, I'm wrong. We felt it was important to keep the date the same. The biggest, at that point of the injury, Gary kept articulating that he was scared I was going to leave. And so it didn't make sense to hold off on the wedding when I felt I could put him at ease and he could get on with the rehab that needed to. We'd been together 10 years, there was that religious consultant, I don't know what the word was, at the hospital.
Chaplain, probably.
Chaplain, I guess, who kept telling us that love can wait. Love will always be there, you can wait. But what were we waiting for? The day where we actually wore the poofy white dress, the day where we actually walked down an aisle in a church. Like, the exchange of vows is about love, and it's bigger than that. I'll get too emotional, but.
I still wanted to get married. I still wanted to spend my life with her. I mean, I needed her coverage from work. No. But.
See, humor doesn't change. I did return to work and have my administrator at the time say to me, I'm so surprised your parents allowed you to get married. You are too young to tie yourself down to somebody like that. And I remember leaving bawling and just like, what right is that of his to decide? Our relationship, we'd been together 10 years. Gary, maybe physically his legs weren't going to move, but he's still the same guy I fell in love with. He hasn't altered his personality. He hasn't changed who he is. So if I was marrying him because he had walking legs, perhaps we needed to rethink that, but that was never one of the criteria I had for a husband. My most vivid memory of our wedding day was going back upstairs, and we just been married. We're now officially a husband and wife, but it's now the first time in days Gary can eat or drink. And somebody had a red freezy. And I remember him eating this red freezy and he's crying. I'm like, are you so happy? No, this just tastes so darn good.
Our life is progressing, little steps here and there, because you kind of get to see the people that come out of rehab that get into car accidents, say, and have insurance, where we don't have any insurance money. So we're doing everything slowly, where these guys come out driving a vehicle.
At that time, we're still driving the Honda Civic and popping off the tires and throwing the wheelchair in the back and sliding Gary in. And even rehab said, you'll never be able to use that car. Well, when you don't have money, you use what you have.
I guess it means not sitting around waiting for a cure, to get out there and live your life. I mean, I can't just sit there and do nothing all my life. And like, now I'm getting out, I'm more active, I'm playing tennis, which has a lot to do with the CPA as well. One of the fellows that met with me, he originally got me into tennis, and he was from CPA originally, but I really didn't want anything to do with him at the time. When you're in rehab, or actually I was still at the general hospital, it's like, I'm gonna walk, I don't need this, right? But it took some pushing to get me there, but I'm finally there, and I'm doing really well in tennis right now. Right now, actually, I'm on Team Ontario, and that's pretty good. I get money from the Quest for Gold. It's a scratch ticket, a lottery ticket. I get funded through that right now, and hopefully, within a year or two, I could end up on Team Canada if I keep progressing. I'm actually playing for Team Canada this April, early May. We're going to Turkey to play in the World Team Cup. I actually played for them last year, was in England.
Playing on the same team as the guy who convinced
the
you to go?
guy who brought me into tennis, he's actually on the team with me as well. take it one day at a time. And we've said it to people we've counseled. I mean, you're at the worst part right now. You're only going to get better. You improve. You know, every day you learn something new. You learn how to put your socks on, or you learn how to transfer better. And once you get a little bit more independent, it's great. You know, and without the CPA and, you know, this guy, Adrian, if I can say his name, I'm sure he won't care. Without him getting me to that tennis court today, I wouldn't know where I'd be right now, really.
I would definitely want to thank them. They filled a humongous void at the rehab hospital that, in terms of needing assistance and needing that. My prior background to teaching is social work. I have a degree in that. And to me, that peer, being able to work with a peer who's been through it before is invaluable. And I think without that organization putting it together, it wouldn't exist. And we've used it, we've accessed it, we needed it. We were so desperate at the time that you're in turmoil and the accident to go on, to see people who are leading regular lives, to know that everyday life isn't about how do we get Gary socks on, what washroom do we access, what meds are we taking, to see someone who knows they're planning, well, what movie are we going to tonight? You know, to be able to see that was fantastic, and without CPA, we wouldn't have had the opportunity. Well, I guess it was the night of the injury when they told me, no, we couldn't have children. And, you know, we then explored it more because, you know, don't take no for an answer. And we knew adoption was an option we'd be totally willing to explore as well. We were confused about how we would access having a child. You know, CPA set us up with other couples who had children, and they walked us through the process. We ended up at the fertility clinic down here in McMaster, and we were there for 3 years. And I think it could have taken less time, but I do believe they got so focused on Gary being in the chair and that Gary being the issue to fertility that in the end it was actually me. I was the problem conceiving, it wasn't Gary.
We're actually just coming back from a tennis tournament.
We came back from a tennis tournament, ironically.
Tennis tournament in Hamilton, and stopped off to get gas, and she's crying. I can feel my period coming. It's not working. So neither of us got the call. It left on an answer machine, so she didn't want to hear it. So I listened to the message, and I found out, and they said, and you've won. You're pregnant. The way she said it, you've won. I'm like, okay. So
I'm hiding in the laundry room because somehow that's going to make it all better.
So she turned around and looked at me, and I kind of went to give her a hug, and so she started bawling. Didn't work. And she's crying. I'm like, Kirsty, you're pregnant. So
and then I said, no, you're lying to me.
Well, after 9 months, we had a big surprise. It was a boy. We thought it was a girl the whole time, and out came Ryan, and the most precious thing you've ever seen.
And now he thinks hockey's the best thing ever. We think you're the best thing ever.
Daddy.
Oh, Daddy's the best thing ever?
Sometimes. Okay. Oh, what do you got there?
What do you got in your hands?
Pucks.
Hockey pucks?
Oh. And who do you cheer for?
Da.
Go Canada, yeah. No limits. Love you. Mwah.